Kyle Agre of Brewer Agre Outdoors, and today we want to share just a little bit of tips and advice on a tactic that we use an awful lot. That is slip bobbering. We use it a lot when we're fishing Devil's Lake, but it's also a really effective tactic in any Midwestern lake, early in the season, late in the season, anytime when you know that there are fish in a particular area and you want to put that bait and really hang it in front of them and just entice them into the bite. And so when we approach slip bobbering, a few thoughts there. We like to use it really doesn't matter, 6.5, 7 foot rod. Some people prefer a fishing rod that's a little bit longer. And the reason why that is it gives you just a little more leverage when you set the hook if you've got slack in that line. And since just the general technique of slip bobbering has a line going out to the bobber and then down to the bait, you do have a little bit of slack that's going to be in there basically any time that you're setting the hook. But again, it really doesn't matter whether that rod is anywhere from 6 to 7.5 feet. It's going to do you real well. And one of the things we like to do is we'll spool that reel up with some type of heavier super line, a 10, 12, or 14 pound super line, and then we'll tie on a swivel and a fluorocarbon leader. It doesn't have to be a long leader. This leader here is about 6'8", probably about 9-10 inches long, and it's just enough where it helps with visibility in terms of keeping the line less visible, but also that fluorocarbon is going to be a smaller test weight than our main line. So we might use a 10-pound super line here, and then we'll put an 8 or a 6-pound leader on. That is critical when it comes to the point of getting snagged up. So you get snagged up on a rock or a log or really anything that might be down there. And if you have to break off, you're able to break that leader, that fluorocarbon leader, and we always rig the bobber up onto the super line above the swivel. That way you lose your leader. Really all you're losing is a piece of line, maybe a split shot weight and a hook. Your bobber remains intact, and basically your bobber stop here is going to stay in place if you tie on the same length leader. It's a real simple approach. Leeches work great, but depending where you're at, you can use this approach with leeches, minnows, really any type of live bait you might be using. It's as simple as when we used to catch those bluegills at the end of Grandpa's dock. We can use that when we're out catching walleyes, and really we can catch pike and other species with it as well. Give it a try.